Hey everybody, this is Tim with Op-Ed Daily. So I've got another example of police abuse, brutality, whatever you want to call it. So a woman now faces charges of not having her dog on a leash and not having rabies shot paperwork. All of this after a Clayton County police officer shoots and kills her dog. So this story is a couple of days old, but it's still quite disturbing and just goes to show, how our police walk around in fear, react in horrible ways, and get to walk away without so much as a slap on the damn wrist. Now, according to Claudette Terry, she was moving into a new home. Her friend was sitting in the driveway, I guess, probably talking to her, whatever. So these cops roll up and want to check on the man that's sitting there. Of course, it's her friend, so he's allowed to be there. So while she's talking with the officers, her son opens the door, the dog runs out and goes and stands next to Claudette. Now, at this moment, there were two officers there. I don't know how much time transpired between then and when this third officer shows up, but that's when all hell broke loose. So a third officer, he walks up. His name's Walter Dennard. He comes up and he claims the 5-month-old, it's a puppy, 5-month-old lab pit mix runs and lunges at Walter, which is the officer. According to the witnesses, however, that story is bullshit. Brandon Smar, who was there, says the dog never lunged at the officer. And Smar even went on to say that the officer just took a step back and just shot the dog, then started laughing about it afterward. The dog then, of course, started shaking on the ground, probably trying to run. And then the officer, Dennard, walks up to the dog and shoots it again right in front of her kids. Now, when the officer first fired the shot, how much distance was between him and the dog, I'm not sure. But she had children playing in the front yard. And her son drops to the ground. He's crying, so she's freaking out, thinking that her son just got shot. Of course, when she checks on him, he was fine, but the dog wasn't. Now, the dog's name was 8-Ball, and according to everybody that knew the dog, of course, they always say this, that he was an extremely friendly dog, was nice to friends, family, and Claudette's daughter, apparently, was very close to this animal as well. So it's just a bad situation all the way around. But they pulled up the personnel file on this Walter Dennard character, and apparently he's received several use of force complaints, including a suspension for tasing a suspect in the neck. But Terry is the one facing charges, all because she didn't have a dog on the leash and because she didn't have rabies paperwork for the animal. To me, this is just a tit for tat. She's screaming foul about how this cop did this, so now they're just going to find some way to pin something on her. And of course, the Clayton County police spokesperson said that they're conducting an internal investigation and cannot comment. Of course, they always say that. And around and around and around and around we go. When is this shit going to end? When are we going to finally get some decent laws put in place that put an end to all this crap and start holding these police accountable for the things that they do? Okay, sure, maybe you thought that the dog was going to attack you or whatever, but that doesn't give you the right to go into somebody else's yard and shoot them. Why would we ever let an officer just walk into somebody else's yard, kill their animal that's in his own yard, and then charge the owner of the animal for some ridiculous thing? Even if the animal had lunged at the officer, it's the nature of the dogs to protect their area. That's their territory. But, the purpose of an animal is to protect that territory. I appreciate it when my dogs bark at people because it'll, get them off guard or freak them out or whatever. If they're not supposed to be there, they're not supposed to be there. The officer, not somebody that's normally there. The dog, even if it did lunge at the officer, wasn't really doing anything wrong. And it's also true that animals can sense nervousness and fear from their owners. Surely, you've seen videos where the dog's sitting there the whole time and isn't really doing anything until the conversation gets heated. And of course, as soon as it gets heated, that dog will attack. When it knows that its owner is in fear, in real fear, that dog will try to get rid of that, the cause of that fear, typically the other person that's having the argument or whatever. That's what dogs are for. And when they're in their own yard, they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. You know, if everything in the articles about this story that I've read are true, the officer should immediately be fired, and he should be charged with animal cruelty, as well as destruction of property, or any other charge they can dredge up. You know, an officer should have no right to come on your property with no permission initially, with no reason to be there, and then shoot your dog just because they felt threatened. That's not the way these things should work. Okay? If the dog comes into your property, he's searching around your backyard, that dog comes out and bites that officer shouldn't be allowed to kill the dog, because the dog is doing exactly what the dog is designed or trained to do. If you agree or disagree, please leave a comment in the comment section below. And, you know, share this video, because these kinds of things are happening more and more and more, or at least we're hearing about it more and more, and we need to get this into people's minds that things need to change. We have to get change, and in order to get that change, one of the best ways is to show that humans aren't the only ones being brutalized by police, but also animals as well. This is Tim with Op-Ed Daily. Peace out.